It's a wee bit past 8. Now, last week we spoke to retired lecturer Nikki McLeod, who was scammed out of £17,000 by so-called oil rig worker calling themselves Alla Morgan. Well, after Nikki raised suspicions about the authenticity of her online friend, she received some videos of Alla, which turned out to be AI-generated fakes, very convincing ones. Let's have a look at what she was sent.
Good morning, Nikki. Hope you had a wonderful night. You know the reason of sending you this video to you? Because I want to prove myself to you and hope this video proves you wrong with all the negative thoughts. It's Alla Morgan. I wanted to reach out to reassure you that I am sincere and have no connection to any scams. Your trust means a lot to me.
It was all a total fraud, a romance scam, and it cost Nikki £17,000. But with the help of a viewer, we have tracked down the real person behind the made-up scam, Alla Morgan. And she is, in fact, this woman, Sophie, a navigation officer from France, outraged her image was stolen to scam Nikki. Going to chat to her in a moment. First, let's hear from Nikki and the devastating impact that this scam has had on her.
Well, I've spent millions of words talking to her on Facebook Messenger, on WhatsApp, on Signal, on Telegram, and every conceivable media platform you can imagine. And we just had really good conversations. But I did start to get very suspicious, and eventually she sent me those videos to convince me that she was real. And I was completely convinced and fell even more in love with her.
Well, we are joined by the real person behind the identity that was scammed by the fraudsters. Her name is Sophie Bavier. Her photos and videos were used in this deep fake fraud. And alongside her is catfishing expert Anna Rowe, who helped us find her real identity. So very good morning to you both. Sophie, you have nothing to do with this.
No. Not at all.
It must be devastating for you to think your image has been used to scam someone out of £17,000.
Yes, it is. It's very strange, actually, because indeed I have nothing to do with it. And I know that pictures are stolen, but it's very difficult to say, well, this is not me behind all this. And then when you see a picture, you cannot really know where it comes from always. So
when was the first you realised this was happening?
It has been happening already for a few years.
So it's happened before?
Yes, it has. It has. Sometimes followers tell me, oh, we found this account and we have reported it, but we just let you know, here's the screenshots and there it goes. But most of the times, actually, I don't know about it. So, like this time, I did not know about it. So it's quite difficult. It's really a not nice feeling to know that.
It must be very unsettling. It must be really unsettling to know that there's a virtual you out there conning people out of serious amounts of money in a very, very convincing, almost as if you're doing it. It's so convincing.
Yes, I had to myself double-check the real videos to see what had changed.
Well, let's have a look. Let's show viewers and ask them, would you be convinced by this AI scam? So here is the video that Nikki received originally from the oil rig worker, Alla, followed by the original genuine video that it was based on, posted by Sophie.
Good morning, Nikki. Hope you had a wonderful night. You know the reason of sending you this video to you? Because I want to prove myself to you and hope this video proves you wrong with all the negative thoughts. You can see it's very storming weather outside.
It's been a while. We haven't done any live here, so we're back and in the bridge. And you can see it's very stormy weather outside.
Anna, it really is impossible for an amateur to detect the fake, the fraud from the real thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
It's very easy when you know that there's something that's changed to be able to go, oh, yeah, I can tell that. But for someone that is not looking for something wrong, it's very, very difficult to detect.
Now, when we spoke to Nikki, she said that she had tried to do a reverse image search on the videos, the fake videos that she'd been sent before she realised that it was a scam, but hadn't managed to find the real videos. You did, though.
Yes.
So what would you say to... Look, I would just like to point out at this point, people will know there's a massive scam that's just gone on in France.
Yes.
where a woman was scammed out of £700,000, her whole divorce settlement,
Yeah.
because she believed that Brad Pitt was in a relationship with her, despite the fact that those who love her had said, genuinely, Brad Pitt is not in a relationship with you, please don't send him any money.
Yeah.
So people can be convinced by even things that other people go, this is very obvious.
Absolutely.
But in this case, it wasn't obvious.
Yeah.
And nobody knows Sophie apart from her followers and her friends and family. How did you track her down?
I've been helping victims for 7 years now, and I actually get to know a lot of faces. And in this particular instance, I knew Sophie's face, and it's because of her profession. So...
But because she'd been used before by scammers, or because you knew of her anyway?
I make it my business to recognise people in the photos that are used. So I've got an awful lot of photos, thousands and thousands in my phone, and I make posts that will show up on those reverse searches. Right. But the problem is, at the moment, the reverse search engines that are available to people...
Sorry, can you just explain to those of us who don't understand, what is a reverse search?
So there are platforms, if you like, that have the ability to track an image. And it's called a reverse search because you already have the image.
Right.
And it will then reverse search to find where that image came from.
Where else it is. Right.
Yeah.
OK.
But they are specifically only looking for that image.
Right.
So if you put those through those searches, and there are a number of those available that are free, Google Image, Bing, Yandex, Tinai, they're all free to use, and each of them has got a different reach to different platforms.
But is the dead giveaway two things, really? One, that a complete stranger is being incredibly nice and friendly to you, and then once you've fallen for their ploys to be friends, they ask you for money. Those are the two crossovers which should absolutely set alarm bells ringing. A friend that you didn't seek out, and then they want money off you.
It would if it was as simple as that, but as always with these particular frauds, it's a long-form fraud. So this isn't something that happens quickly.
Right.
And the victims are manipulated emotionally and psychologically for a very long period of time.
What do you mean, weeks or months?
Months. I've had victims where it's been 3 years before they've actually asked for money.
Before the trap snapped?
Yeah, before they've actually asked for the money. So there's a lot goes on beforehand to make the victim compliant and what's seemingly complicit.
And are some types of people more vulnerable than others? I mean, are there people who basically out there who are lonely and are desperate for friendship and basically will take anything that comes along?
It would be easy to say yes, but the fact is that anybody can be targeted, and it's just if those particular scammers manage to hit something that is something that you will gel with.
Anna, why did someone fall for the Brad Pitt scam?
Okay.
Anybody in the cold light of day would say Brad Pitt is unlikely to want to have a romance with a stranger online.
Yeah.
And these photographs aren't convincing. But the woman who was scammed has lost huge amounts of money, feels utterly exploited, humiliated. She was, by all accounts, an intelligent, sensible woman.
Yeah.
How did the scammers get away with that?
So, again, it's that whole manipulation process. And those celebrity scams, although people scoff at them, it's very clever the way that they get an in with that. So they will go to what can look like it's a verified page, and they will go into the comments, and they will clone what looks like the same big, huge fan account, and they will start commenting on comments that have been made by targets. And then they will say, it's really great that you're such, a loyal fan. I'd really like to chat with you. Please message me.
Interesting.
And they go in that way. And then they use the deepfake videos, or they clone voices to leave voice notes.
And by that point, your brain is saying, I want to believe.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes you so vulnerable. Sophie, you are in the same position as Brad Pitt. It has, where your image has been used. And as a result, there's a kind of... I don't know how you feel about that, because you've been abused as well.
Well, it's really not nice that pictures are used on one hand, but it's even worse to know that that other people get hurt with my pictures, you know. So this is the terrible thing. Like to know that pictures are out there and being used, it's one thing. I cannot do anything about it unless I stop posting, which is not the purpose of it, because I want to share my adventures, my sailing life, and
because you are a sailor.
I am. But,
not an oil rig worker.
No.
But you were there in an environment which could be described in the same way.
But then somebody who knows the sailing and shipping industry will make the difference, because on an oil rig platform you don't sail, actually, and you would have way more high visibility clothing and equipment.
That's a specific area of suspicion, as it were. But just as if there's one takeaway that people watching this, there'll be people watching this who are possibly right now entering into the beginnings of one of these relationships with a complete fake, and down the line they're going to get money screwed out of them. If there was one takeaway from this conversation that we could offer them, what would it be? How do you get on your guard?
I think the thing about money is obviously a huge red flag in the cold light of day, but there's a lot of manipulation, like I said, that goes on before that. If I can give you 5 quick points. One is they will very quickly want to take you off of the place that they found you into an encrypted chat app.
Red flag number 1.
Number 2, they will say that they're working abroad or soon to go abroad, because that's how they create a problem. Number 3, professions are very important to these scammers. Military and oil rig workers are right up there because they're quite mysterious occupations. Number 4, one way that they build the trust in that whole manipulation process, they clone bank accounts, what look like legitimate bank websites. They will give victims the logins to those. The victim, I mean, what form of trust is that someone's allowing you to do that? They can go in and make transactions, but that is what causes the problem, because the scammer will then send a notification going, oh, look, there's been a suspicious login. And then sometime in the future, when they need money, they can't get into their bank account because it's been frozen. The other thing to remember is that healthy relationships evolve over time. And these scammers, much like abusers in domestic violence, and the academic research is out there to show the parallels with this now. It happens very quickly and it's very, very intense. So if you're feeling overwhelming and that this is all happening very quickly, that's also something to look out for.
5 red flags, really helpful.
Thank you both so much. Good to see you both. Right, 25 minutes past